Sri UP Singh Sahab, Secretary Ministry of Water Resources, Her Excellency Ms. Harinder Sidhu, High Commissioner Australia, Mr. Anil Rajdan, former Secretary Power, Dr. V.K. Garg, former Chairman Power Finance Corporation and Chairman Joint Regulatory Commission, Mr. Kaura, MD Virgin Group, Mr. Dennis Ibrahim, Mr. Anil Garg, friends, distinguished delegates of the dais. It's my privilege to welcome you all to the 9th World Renewable Energy Congress and 2nd World Water Summit. In next 2-3 days, we will have a lot of deliberations on renewable energy as well as on water resources. To set the tone for the conference, I'll like to restrict myself to renewable energy. Out of a total power capacity of 346 megawatt, today we have developed 20% as renewable capacity. We are already at 70 gigawatt. Government has set a target of 175 gigawatt by 2022, which is a huge target. But they have also set plans for bidding out up to 200 gigawatt of renewable energy in next 2 years. 60 gigawatt is to be bid out in 18-19 and 19-20 for solar projects, 20 gigawatt for wind projects. Another 7 gigawatt shall be bid out for solar and wind hybrid. 2 gigawatt shall be bid out for offshore wind and 4 gigawatt for floating solar, biomass and hydro. So that is going to take us to around 200 gigawatt. Now that is the planned frameworks. Government has also come out with matching policies to support this. It is not that they have simply come out with a huge target. They have also said, government has written 2 states for automatic exemption for land from Land Ceiling Act, because in a lot of states this becomes an impediment. Advisory of states has followed for wind to be added to solar projects so that land use is optimized, the evacuation is optimized. IST charges have been waived till 2022 so that power can be transferred from one state to other state. Similarly, some of the states have come out with waiving of intrastate charges, like Andhra and Telangana have come out with that. Similarly, Rajasthan and UP have exempted cross-subsidy charges. In order to conserve land, floating solar plants are being proposed, for which expression of interest has been invited for 10,000 megawatt, and in the first phase, 150 megawatt will be put up. Intrastate transmission project is under implementation, wherein 8,500 kilometers of transmission lines shall be put up, which will help in evacuation of almost 20 gigawatt of power. So, to encourage manufacturing, new manufacturing policies on the anvil, which will help in putting up maybe 20,000 megawatt of projects, but 10,000 megawatt of solar installed capacity. Government is also thinking of revival of DCR, domestic content requirement, through expansion of PSU route. Earlier there was a policy of debt content requirement through public sector up to 1,000 megawatts, so that is going to be enhanced. Government is also envisaging a favorable policy on biomass. A lot of incentives are proposed. Also, they have written to all states that biomass projects should up to 10 megawatt should be given a must-run status. New policy to support small hydro is also under process. Scheme on Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Utthan Mahabhiyan, Kusum scheme. A large scheme is being discussed and it is on the anvil, which will solarize agriculture pump set, and a huge subsidy is proposed in that scheme. Government is also working on an energy storage mission. The other 2 changes that government is also planning is to put service obligation on part of discoms to ensure 24/7 power, else face huge penalties. And also, at the same time, the minister is also thinking of limiting cross-subsidy in tariffs to be restricted to 20%. So all these things are going to help propagate renewable energy in the country. There are a lot of issues. Although the prices have come down for renewable, safeguard duties have been imposed. The risks still persist for lenders because the prices have come down too low. But what we are seeing globally is that prices have come down across the globe. So it is not restricted to India, it is also in Africa, in Europe, in US. The prices for renewables have come down, making it much more viable. And therefore, putting a huge target before us is not out of place. If you look at investments that have happened in globally, they have been restricted to around $300 billion. $279 billion was the investment in renewable energy globally, out of which 45% was invested in China. The investment in India was only 4%, 10 to $11 billion, though we are fourth in the investment, but if you look at percentage-wise, it is only 4% of the global investment. Now, the majority of the investment was in asset formation. So out of $279 billion, $216 billion went for asset formation. $49 billion was in smaller projects of below 1 megawatt. The same trend is prevailing in India also. Majority of the investment goes for asset formation. The financing for this would not be a challenge. Considering earlier, it was considered to be a huge challenge that where is $100 billion or $150 billion in next 4 years. Today, the requirement has come down with the prices coming down to almost $60 billion to $70 billion in asset formation only for next 4 years, which works out to around $12 billion in debt finance and maybe $3 to $4 billion per year in equity finance, which is not a huge challenge. Also, simultaneously, the global financial market has also grown exponentially. If you look at green bond market, that has grown from $1 billion to today it is $163 billion last year. Till last year it was $160. A lot of Indian companies are exploring bond market. A lot of new products are coming. Pension funds and other equity funds, other funds are happy to invest in renewable energy because there is a constant source of revenue generation. So considering that land requirement is optimized, evacuation will be there, financing is available, technology is matured, there would be problems. I don't say there will not be any issues in renewable energy development. There are a lot of news coming that we will not achieve 100 gigawatt, maybe we will achieve 80% of that source. That is fine. But the political push is behind it, and all the support from the government is there. And I am sure whatever progress that is being made in renewable is substantially good. Globally, we are competing well with other countries. The investment will keep pace in next 4 years also. With these words, I thank you all for listening. Thank you.